Hi, I'm Kimberly Corp.
And I'm Catherine Corp.
And welcome to another episode of
Let's Get Wealthy.
And that's wealthy with a WELLthy.
Today we're going to talk about factoids about fiber.
And factoid number one, you're probably not getting enough.
No. So, starting with our nutrition label, you'll see the little line that says dietary fiber. And it's under the category of carbohydrates because, newsflash, fiber is a carbohydrate.
And it's a good carbohydrate. We have another video coming up on good versus bad carbohydrates, but fiber is good. It does not impact your glycemic index or your glycemic load, which is what the next video will be about, which is what spikes your blood sugar. But anyway.
Right. Fiber is good for you. So there are two types of fiber. There's soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. So soluble fiber is also known as high viscosity fiber. It's like the gooey, gummy.
It's the gooey, like the oatmeal and the legumes, anything that mixes with water and gets sort of gooey and gummy.
It slows gastric emptying, meaning it takes longer for food to pass from your stomach to your intestines.
Which also means it takes longer for that to be converted to glucose, so it does not spike your blood sugar. The other thing is that it interferes with the absorption of fat and cholesterol.
Yes, and that's according to the Mayo Clinic. We've included the link here so you can see that. And because it binds with the gastric juices, you feel fuller faster and for a little bit longer. So that's also good if you're trying to lose weight or you're trying just to modify how much you eat. If you want to feel full, we don't like to leave the table hungry.
Right, so that's very important to know that fiber can help you feel fuller. So if you're choosing what to eat and you know that you're going to be without food for a while, pick fiber-rich foods.
Indeed. So then there's also insoluble fiber, and that's your cellulose-like stuff. So you think of
celery. I mean, celery is the perfect example. You actually can see the fibers. You can peel them away one at a time. But coming up, we have lots of foods that are high in fiber that you'd never guess.
Exactly. So with the insoluble fibers, they will create increase the bulk in what you eliminate. That's the dainty way of saying that.
So they keep things moving. Which you want things moving. Things sitting in the large intestine, never a good idea.
Right. But just also notice that when you look at a nutrition label, it's not going to differentiate between soluble and insoluble fiber. So that's where if you want to do some research on your own, you can kind of see it. It'll just say dietary fiber listed as one.
Right, and it's also important to notice that when you look at something about carbohydrates, to pay attention what the fiber content is.
Right.
Because just because something is high in carbohydrates doesn't mean it's bad
for
you.
And so they'll list, dietary fiber and then sugar. So obviously you want the fiber to be high and the sugar to be low.
Yes, sadly, that is what we want. So now let's talk about how much fiber you need.
So the recommended daily dietary allowance for fiber is 25 grams for women and 35 to 38 grams for men.
That is roughly 14 grams per 1,000 calories consumed.
That's a lot of fiber.
Most
people aren't even getting half of that.
Yeah, that's a lot. And especially if you're only paying attention to other nutrients, it's easy to let fiber fall by the wayside, which is why we're here talking about fiber.
Yes. So here's a chart of some common foods and the fiber levels in each. So an apple has 4.4 grams, and that's a medium-sized apple, so I guess we can all be the judge of what a medium-sized apple is. A cup of peas has 16.3 grams.
Yes, and then oats, raw oats, have 16.5 grams. That's for 1 cup. And then notice, we are going to put up the levels for steak, chicken, and cheese here. 6 ounces of steak, 6 ounces of chicken, and 3 ounces of cheese. Notice,
there is no fiber in meat or in cheese. So if you're on a high-protein diet and a low-carb diet, as Kimberly already said, you really want to be careful that the carbs that you do eat have fiber in them. It's better for you that way.
You do need fiber. It's good for you.
Yes.
We said it keeps things moving.
Yes. But guess what? Also, with like an apple, you can't say, okay, I'll just eat 6 apples. Yeah, technically 6 apples would give you your 25 grams a day for a female. But who's going to sit down and eat 6 apples?
And who's going to sit down and eat 2 cups of peas?
Ooh.
That sounds like punishment. Punishment. Like if I were to punish her, I'd say eat 2 cups of peas.
Right.
Nothing against peas.
And even oatmeal, I mean, that actually goes back to the soluble fiber thing. If you had 2 cups of uncooked oats and you actually put water in them and you made them and you tried to sit down and eat all of it, sure, it would give you all the fiber you needed for the day, but you'd be miserable.
So just keep in mind, though, I guess the point we want to make here is that meat, cheese, all the proteins, they don't contain fiber. They contain a lot of wonderful things. We're not saying that, but if you're looking to maintain a healthy, balanced diet, you do need fiber.
But once you process a food, the fiber content decreases.
Yes, and of course we have a chart for you because you know we love our charts.
We love our charts. So let's take our whole apple. The medium-sized apple is 4.4 grams of fiber. Once you convert that to a half cup of applesauce, you're now at 1.5 grams of fiber.
Wow.
And then once that's processed even more to apple juice, it becomes zero. So that's something to keep in mind. Same thing with an orange. An orange has 2.3 grams of fiber, again, medium size. You be the judge of that. But then you convert it to orange juice and it doesn't have any, even with the pulp, because I researched that.
Oh,
'Cause I thought,
okay.
if the orange juice has pulp in it, wouldn't that
I
have
was just
more in
about
it?
to ask
It was still hovering around zero.
So it's funny because I would have thought, without having researching, that if I'm drinking orange juice with a pulp in it, that suddenly I'm getting fiber, but you're not.
Yeah.
Wow. Fascinating. Now another thing with breads, think whole grain bread versus white bread. Well, white bread, it was already processed in the facility,
Right.
and so it was broken down to its finest little points, and all the little fiber in the whole grain went into the trash bin in the wherever they mill it. But with whole grains, you're having to eat them. Your body's having to digest them. Your body has to break down. So one simple way of thinking of it is the harder your body has to work to break
Yes.
something down is probably the more fiber it has if you're just going to paint with a big brush.
Exactly. And now our favorite, because no one knows this, this is Kimberly's favorite thing.
Okay, girls, guess what? Dark chocolate has 3.1 grams of fiber for, oh, let me check my serving size. A 1 ounce serving.
Which is great, and that's actually twice as much as milk chocolate, and chocolate milk has zero. So, but it has to be like 80% and above of cacao content.
So, yes.
And again, we don't recommend you getting your entire
Yes, I was
daily
just going to
allowance.
say, that was my we don't recommend. Back to our sugar challenge, it's probably not best to think, oh, wait, 3.1 grams of fiber per ounce. Okay,
Right.
so how many ounces do I have to eat to
So
get all my
technically
fiber?
you could eat 8 ounces of dark chocolate and do that, but that's kind of
that's
difficult.
obviously defeating the purpose. But anyway, it's just trivia. If you ever want to say why, if someone asks you why you like dark chocolate, you can say it's the fiber
It's the
content.
fiber content.
Or if you're eating it and someone, because we get it, owning a fitness studio, if ever I splurge and have chocolate, someone's like, I can't believe you eat that. Now I'm going to say, I'm getting my fiber.
I'm getting my fiber. Just anywhere you can, because actually snacks, and we'll get into this more, but snacks are a really good way to increase your fiber content. So we have lists, again, love lists.
We love our lists.
So we'll start with our fruits. So we have a list, we have the apples and pears. Pears actually have more than apples. It's sad that I still don't like pears. Berries are rock stars. So any fruits that you
Yes.
have with the edible seeds, like your blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries, are very high,
Yeah.
especially for their size.
Exactly. I was shocked to see how much fiber is in blackberries and raspberries. Just shocking. I was like, okay, I need to explore these a little more often.
Right, so they're very easy to sprinkle on something or just to have a handful here and there. But my favorite part, because it is a fruit, avocados. A cup of avocado has 6.7 grams of fiber. So get that guacamole
Order the
going.
guacamole.
And again, it's for my healthy fats and my fiber, don't you know?
Yes, I mean, I was very excited to see this. So it was funny because we started this thinking it was going to be one of those videos that was a little bit like, oh God, I have to eat this and I have to eat that. Okay, more avocados, more chocolate.
Yes, please. All right, so now we're moving on to vegetables. And with our vegetables, even a potato has fiber. A potato has 3.8 grams. An artichoke, believe it or not, an artichoke, the mighty artichoke, has 10.3 grams of fiber.
Wow.
Who knew?
I had no idea. And then we go down into our beans and legumes. I'm not good with beans, I must be honest. It's not my favorite thing.
But peas are okay.
Peas are okay. And I think it's coming up later. I'm going to step on her line. That's coming up. Frozen peas are much better than canned peas.
They
So-
are. So the minute
Sorry.
you can something, the nutrition quality, if you will, the nutrition value decreases for everything across the board. But the other bigger problem is the sodium increases, because
Yes.
most canned vegetables especially are packed in sort of, well, if you taste it, it's been forever since I've had canned foods,
Right.
but it's kind of salty, so you want to avoid that.
Right. So why I mentioned peas, it's very hard to, rarely do I go into the grocery store, even if I'm going to make something with peas, and think to myself, here, let me shell them myself. Right. So frozen peas are a very, very good idea.
Yes.
They're usually flash frozen, and they preserve more fiber than canned.
And then we have our bread, as we mentioned, our little list of bread with your whole grain bread versus your white bread, but also grain-wise, popcorn. Air-popped popcorn, that is good for you. It has, for 1 cup of air-popped popcorn, it's 1.2 grams of fiber. But who only eats 1 cup?
Yes, who only eats 1 cup? But then, since I've already done the research for the video we're doing next on glycemic index and glycemic load, whereas yellow corn can be very bad for blood sugar, popcorn isn't. Don't ask me why. I haven't figured that one out yet.
That doesn't mean it's movie popcorn, right?
Oh, right.
Oh. So movie popcorn with whatever the butter-like substance that probably isn't butter, that's really yummy. But, you know, we're talking air popped popcorn.
Right.
Yeah, or in the microwave. You can do popcorn in the microwave.
Yes.
So next we have our seeds and nuts.
Yes.
Chia seeds are the little rock stars of the seed world in terms of fiber.
Shocking.
I know.
It was like, wow. And I've made myself little chia thingies here and there, and now I'll just have to get back into that. We're going to put a link to some recipes. We haven't tried them all. We're just being equal opportunity recipe providers. We just did a Google search, so we recommend that if you don't like any of these, do your own little Google search.
Yeah,
So.
but 1 ounce of chia seeds has 10.6 grams of fiber. So that's really an easy way to throw some extra fiber in your
and you
diet.
can always just sprinkle them on something. They're really, I mean, you can soak them and get them to be sort of gelatinous, yummy stuff, but they also can just be sprinkled on.
All right, so now the challenge.
Uh-oh.
Here is the challenge. Within the next 30 days, so whatever day you start the challenge, think of by the end of 30 days, you are going to get your diet up to 25 grams of fiber for a woman daily and 35 to 38 for a man. Now, the reason we say by the end of 30 days is that if you are eating, let's say most people get half, so let's say you're eating only 15 grams of fiber a day, and then suddenly tomorrow you start getting the 25 to 30 grams of fiber a day, your body will not like you very much.
Right. It takes a while for the little juices inside of you to go, okay, this is what we're doing now, got it.
Right.
And it just to acclimate to the
Right,
change.
and needless to say, if you are under the care of a nutritionist or a dietitian or a doctor, what they say goes, and so consult them first. This is if you're healthy and you just feel like trying it. But there's also one more thing to remember with fiber. You have to drink more water.
Yes.
Just as in your body, when you, like oats, when you pour water on oats, the oats soak up all the water. That will happen in your body as well.
Right.
So if you're not drinking enough water, it can make you feel a little queasy or actually have the adverse effect, and you don't want to be plugged up because you're drinking or eating more fiber.
Right.
So water is good.
Water's very good. So anyway, we hope this helps you figure out what you can do for yourself to get more fiber. And again, all of our information comes from science-based websites, and we hope that we've helped you out.
Yeah, have fun creating new recipes. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this, you can subscribe below to our channel.
And don't forget to check out our other videos, and if you have a request for a specific topic, leave it in the comments below and we will do it. Thank you.